初めてだよ。こういうの。
ありがとうございます。
よかった。まあもう会うことはないか。
This here is a friendly, kind man I got to meet in downtown Tokyo on a rainy day when I was out with the Pentax K1000 and a roll of Fuji Premium 400. And in this video I want to tell you the story of this relaxed rainy day and my enthusiasm for trains that I got to photograph and the fun encounter that I had with this guy. Enjoy. So this story begins back in October when I was still in Japan and waiting for a rainy day to come because I really wanted to shoot in Tokyo in the rain because I like how it changes things up a lot. The streets become more reflective and the people have this commonality connecting them, the umbrella. I took the train to a station that I've been meaning to explore more because I feel like there's a lot of potential there, however I hadn't really done much in that area. I'm speaking of the station Ochanomizu. I began straight away in the surrounding area and got this pretty random, almost terrible shot. Okay, terrible was a bit harsh, but honestly, I do not remember what I wanted to shoot here. I suppose it's just the bustling energy of the place, but the shot is quite the mess with little clarity on what the intention or the subject is, so I don't know, let's just move on. Here, I spotted those stairs and thought they could be a neat piece of a composition. I waited for a bit and got this shot, which I think is much better than the first one. This one is actually quite nice. It captures the busy day here in Ochanomizu, with all the people moving through the composition, and I like how the timing worked out with one guy going up the steps and one guy coming down. I continued to walk down the street here on the lookout for any interesting scenes. Here I thought that getting a simple shot of the other side of the road could be interesting. The result is alright, but nothing special. I do like how the shot has multiple layers, the road in the foreground with the people walking by, and then the inside of the restaurant. However, I suppose this would look way cooler with a 50mm lens to be closer. Maybe I should try a session with a 50mm for a change. This one I think turned out quite alright. I like the chaos captured in the frame. Two details I enjoy is how the person walking my way perfectly cuts off their head with the umbrella, anonymizing themselves in the photo, and how the traffic manager is looking this way as he manages the flow of people passing through this area. Here, I arrived at the other side of Ochanomizu station, and I was intrigued by the mass of people in the rain here. I usually don't see this much going on rainy days because I tend to be out west where my granny lives, where people only really go out on a rainy day to go to work or get groceries. Here, on the other hand, I feel like everyone is doing something work-related anyway because this area of Tokyo is home to many offices, and so even on a rainy day like this, there's a lot going on. I really like this shot. The first one I got was a bit too chaotic with too little direction for the viewer, whereas this one appears to have more structure to me. In my perception, this shot is about the kids. One is somewhat averse to step across the puddles, whereas the other just stomps through happily with power. And then there's the more reserved adults trying to keep their neat business clothing clean and dry. I just like how this photo balances the chaos and the subject in a way that the viewer can piece together a bit of a story. Alright, From this point onwards, this episode is going to be a bit of a treat if you're anything like me and like trains. Of course, Japan is one of the greats when it comes to trains, and I love to photograph them. And this bridge here gave me a wonderful opportunity to. Here's the shot, and I love this one. It's very simple, almost to the point that it's not at all special, but then it kind of still is in my opinion. To me, it just exudes such a calm feeling. Obviously the rain plays a big part in that, but I love the scene for its mix of high-rise buildings and the intense vegetation around the river. And the river itself, together with the train tracks that follow the shape of the river, add a nice flow to the composition that sucks me into the scene. So all that sets a good stage already. All that is left is a main character, which of course is the train. Anyway, I'm very happy with this one. From here, I didn't really see any streets that looked like ones that I'd like to prioritise, and so I decided to walk back to where I began so that I can check out the bridge on that side too, because, you know, maybe I can shoot some more trains. Here I arrived at the bridge, and it was at this moment that I realised what I had found here. This is actually a very famous photo spot in Tokyo, because from this bridge you get to see the unique build of train infrastructure that crosses the river. It's just fascinating how the tracks go above and below each other here, and so when you wait long enough you get to see a total of 3 or more trains all passing this spot at the same time, which can be quite the view. This is the shot that I got. While I knew that this photo has been done so many times already, as a train enthusiast I couldn't resist to get my own version of this shot, and so this is my take on it. My patience allowed for a total of 3 trains in one frame. I didn't want to wait for even more to come in. I love how the red one is just peeking out of the tunnel, and also the fact that it's red. It stands out so beautifully in the center of the frame. Then, before we continue, I would like to welcome back a good old friend of the channel that is sponsoring today's video, Epidemic Sound. I say good old friend because they've long ago already supported my work, and I'm really happy to have them back on the channel. In case you don't know, Epidemic Sound is where I get all of my music. My first videos all have copyright claims because, well, I used copyrighted music. What Epidemic Sound does is solve this problem. Now that I source all of my music from them, I can live in peace knowing that my videos are fine and I get to monetize my videos on YouTube. Apart from that peace of mind that Epidemic Sound gives me, I love them for the wide range of music. They have a massive library of over 50,000 plus songs and 200,000 plus sound effects. You know that I like to use quite a mix of genres in my videos. This is where my search usually starts. If you like the music in my videos, here's a tip for you. These are, in my opinion, the best genres where I find most of the music that I use in my videos. Once inside a genre, I can use Epidemic's filtering tools or other search functions to refine my search. By the way, if you find a song that is quite close to what you're looking for, but you think it would be better without, for example, the drums, you can download the song separated into stems and then just leave out the drums. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Epidemic Sound and highly recommend that you go there if you are a video creator of any sort, be it on YouTube or in a creative agency. Epidemic Sound has the license to cover all of your online publishing needs. You can use the link in the description to get a free trial and try it out, and if you decide to stay, you can get 50% off of your first 2 months by using the code TEO50. Thank you so much to Epidemic Sound for partnering with me, and now let's get back to that bridge where I was shooting. I was actually just about to walk off of this bridge after spending quite some time here, but as I looked to my left, something yet again caught my eye. I was quite fond of how the lines worked here, the bridge with all of its horizontal lines and the backdrop with all of its vertical lines, from the buildings that rise up in the distance. I think this ended up being quite a nice composition. Then I did eventually make it off of the bridge, and I continued down these steps here because there seemed to be a temple of sorts down here which I wanted to check out.
It'd be really cool if someone would come up those stairs now, but I don't think that many people are out on a weather day like this.
So while nobody was coming up those steps, I did spot someone coming down the steps that I came from, and so I took the chance. Here's the result, and I think it's quite alright. Not outstanding or anything, but I do love all the plants here. It's like a tiny forest in the middle of the city, and this shot documents that as this person enters the space. Somehow though, the photo just doesn't hit me quite in the right way. I think it might be the lighting or the fact that the subject is still a bit in the dark. Something here just doesn't sit quite right with me, but I can't quite tell what it is. Then I proceeded further into this place and enjoyed being surrounded by trees and leaves and all the intense green colours that I felt were stronger on a rainy day like this one than when they're dry. Here's the photo I took, and while it may not be special at first sight, I like it a lot for the soothing feeling and atmosphere it captures. I must say, I'm uncertain whether that is just something for me because it reminds me of the experience of being there, or whether it also effectively translates to you as the viewer who didn't experience the rain in this spot.
Really need to duck down.
After exploring this spot for a little longer, I found an exit where I decided to go out into the streets again and see what else I can find. I ended up walking up this road that leads back to Autonomy Station again, and on the way I spotted a scene to my left. This is what I got. I waited for a moment for the person on the moped to enter my frame, and I must say I really like the moment I was able to capture. It shows Tokyo in motion as the train at the back also moves. I wonder though if this shot could be better with one more subject that is still, however, maybe simply a person standing on the street watching the train pass by.
The breeze brings goosebumps to my skin. Tonight the whiskey feels stronger. Gasoline on hidden desires.
I don't really know why I got this shot. It's pretty bad. I'd say boring. I don't really know why I got it. Then, after walking along the street for quite some time, I ended up turning around at the next crossing to come here where I could get another shot of the trains, but this time from a different angle. I think I prefer the angle from above, but this one is honestly not bad, it's still pretty cool. Also, I can't get enough of that red train. It's such a beautiful choice of colour that stands out in a pleasing contrast to the greens that dominate the frame. More train shots. I told you this episode will be a treat for the train enthusiasts. This one I wanted to shoot for the play with geometry that is possible here with all the lines crossing the frame.
This spot is just way too fun.
This shot is quite nice in my opinion. I like the granny and the big bushy tree behind, just a little scene that I got to capture on this rainy day. Here I spotted that taxi and I loved the vibrant green design, and so I thought it'd be cool to get a shot of it. However, the taxi by itself from behind might be a little too boring, but then I got lucky. This is what I got, and I like it. I might have pressed the shutter a bit too late. If the cyclist were still on the right side of the frame, I imagine this would feel a bit more balanced, but nevertheless, I like the motion in this shot and how it just feels a little hectic. Here I got a quick sneaky shot of this guy crossing the road. I think this one turned out pretty decent actually. The framing is a little odd maybe, but the large, nearly empty road is quite the scene for this guy to cross, and some of the lines act as leading lines to the subject, so I just think it works quite alright actually. Then I walked around a couple streets for some time but didn't really see anything particular that I wanted to shoot. I then slowly started to head back to the station to come to an end of the shoot, and as I was approaching the main road here, I spotted this man at the traffic light that I wanted to cross. He seemed to be waiting to cross, and I was fond of the fun little key holders and such that decorated his backpack, and so I tried to get a shot of them. However, then this happened.
Where are you from?
あ、私オーストリアから来ていますけど、半分日本人から日本語大丈夫です。
でもすごいですね。Where you is born? もうジャパン？でもオーストリアってドイツ語じゃない？
そうですよ。そうそう。ドイツ語も喋れます。
もちろん英語も喋れる。
そうです。
I think this guy thought that I wanted to get past him, but once he realized that I was also just waiting, he suddenly started a conversation with me. It was really fun, and so I just decided to walk wherever he was walking to. I was actually going to head into a different direction. Turns out he wanted to go to Ochanomizu Station too, just via the more efficient route, and so we walked there together while chatting.
あ、じゃあ英語はなんで喋れるんですか？
Student, I belong to English speaking society.
ああ。
So,
Before parting ways, however, I asked him whether I may take his portrait.
お茶の水かどうか、この辺でね、友達が待ってるの。
あ、そうですか。
まあ、
いや、行く前に写真撮っていいですか？
オッケーオッケーオッケーオッケー。
お願いします。
オッケーオッケー。どこがいいの？どこがいいの？
そこがちょっと人が少ないから、そこの方がいいかなと。そう、この緑が後ろにあって綺麗と思います。はい、そこ、はい、そこでいいです。
いいですか？
そう、大体その高さでいいと思います。もうちょっと高くして、そして
モデルになったよね。
じゃあもうちょっと遠くの方がいいかな。こっち来てください。そうそう、そこでいいと思う。
初めてだよ。こういうの。
ありがとうございます。
よかった。まあもう会うことないかもしれませんけど、
そうかな。
まあいろいろ人生楽しんでんじゃん。
同じこちらこそありがとうございます。And now we're back where we started. I think that was a great ending. What a lovely chap. That was one great way to end the shoot. I was thinking I'd finish this shoot anytime soon, and I think that was the perfect way to end it now. So I hope those portraits actually turned out to be any good. I think I got the settings right, more or less. Yeah, that was fun.
I think these turned out lovely. They're a great memory of this random encounter. The lighting might not be great, but it's fine. Everything that needs to be visible is visible, and the exposure turned out balanced, so I'm happy with the outcome. This was such a great way to end this rainy shoot. I then got on the train and headed home with a big smile on my face. I hope you enjoyed joining me on this one. Maybe I can encourage you to go out with a camera too, even on a rainy day every now and then. Before saying goodbye, I would like to say a big thank you to the lovely people supporting me and my work on Patreon. Thank you so much to each one of you. If you're interested in Lightroom presets, tutorials and stuff like that, you can check out my page via the link in the description. Also, by the way, I have a print shop in case that is of interest to you, also in the description. With that said, I hope to see you again soon. Until then, goodbye.